From the Middle is a founding member of Odd Pods Media. Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to episode 179 of From the Middle. We're three middle-class guys living in the middle of America in the middle chapters of our lives with a point of view that's somewhere in the middle. And if that doesn't tell you enough about our show, we're a comedy, culture, entertainment, and interview-style podcast, and we love talking about all kinds of things like movies, music, and food. And in this episode, we talk about food in an interview format as we sit down with the hosts of the Grab 'em and the Brisket podcast. You're going to love this mashup. Here we go.
Oh, for the love.
Sorry, just clearing my Mountain Dew hole.
I got my phone hole cleaned today.
That's where you keep it? You're so cerebral and you're so developed and evolved.
From the Middle after dark over here. Ladies and gentlemen, it took 179 episodes, but we finally got the Grab 'em and the Brisket boys on the podcast.
Yes.
What's up,
guys? Boys.
What's up, brother?
We started a podcast just to be able to interview you guys. So this is the whole thing. We've just arrived at this point. Thank you so much for joining. I'm so excited to have you on.
Hey, thanks for having us. Now we know that our work is done and we can quit podcasting.
That's the final episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Now
This
we
is
said-
just one like epic crossover mashup, like MCU kind of finale. And this will be the end. It'll be like little dust bunnies across the internet for our shows from here on out. Legitimately a big fan of the podcast. So glad to have you on because we love talking about food. We're from Middle North. You're from Middle South, but it's all kind of middle. And your show feels very similar to ours in a lot of ways. You're funnier and you're more informational, but it feels very similar. So I'm glad to have Middle North and Middle South.
Yep.
all
Smarter,
merged.
funnier, thinner, all those things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of beards in the room. There's a lot of hats in the room, and there's a lot of beverages in the room. We have our Mountain Dew Fruit Quake that you sent us, John. So thanks for that. We haven't tried it yet. We're going to crack this open. I'm a little afraid, to be honest, especially with the Mountain Dew with a blast of artificial fruit cake flavor that's written on the side. So this should be interesting.
Is there a natural fruitcake flavor that I'm
I
not
knew
aware
y'all
of?
wanted to try it. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody gave me like a red panic button for this. So I don't know what to do. If you see me hurl off screen, just keep talking.
These
Don't
guys
do it
are
off
the
screen,
most.
please.
These guys are the most generous guys ever. So when we were talking about Buc-ee's a handful of episodes back,
Yeah.
they sent us like a care package full of like beaver nuggets and freaking all kind of amazing things from Buc-ee's, and sent us you guys' shirts, and have now sent us the latest holiday flavor of Mountain Dew. So thank you for being so generous. We have nothing to share other than our 12 listeners, and maybe you can get some more from the Midwest. So.
There it is.
Love it.
There it is. We did our job. Hey, so have you tried the Mountain Dew yet? Are you fixing some?
No, I'm fixing to try it right now. Fixing, that's a Texas
There
term.
it is.
Let's do it. Yeah.
I'm,
Fruitcakes. That was one of the things that I was like, I know it gets a bad rap. Everybody's like, this is just completely disgusting, but I don't hate it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It's a very dense cake. Then it has those little candies in it, like that little fruit candies.
you need something to
It's
drink
not-
when you eat it?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not
I
good.
can't. I don't know if they can really.
This space isn't inspiring a lot of
Yeah.
confidence
Yeah.
right now.
Tell us what you
Well, while we're choking that down, well, please make sure to tell everyone, take a minute, tell everyone about your show on the front end before we bore them and they drop off.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're a Texas barbecue podcast. I love the face. We're a beer and barbecue podcast. So, but I think what sets us apart is that we're not just only a barbecue, like camaraderie or anything else. We're also a comedy. We're also current event. But barbecue is what brings us together. We're all neighbors. Fortunate enough to kind of start this barbecue team, and yeah, I mean, it's super badass being able to hang out with your best friends and talk, and people send you beer in the mail. I mean, like, what got better than this, right?
Yeah, and
Amen.
you guys also cover a lot of like barbecue related like merchandise, and you get to try stuff, and it's super informative. Like you're helpful and funny, which I think is the extra win. Do we want to chime in on the Mountain Dew in between? It's
Sure,
truly
so-
terrible.
You think so?
It's atrocious. It's fruity and cinnamony, but in all the wrong ways at the same.
I
Right.
get like a bit of ginger ale on the front end, but then it finishes sweeter than that. I don't know. It is a cacophony.
I'm sorry.
Right.
Cacophony. You
Coffee
and your
brews?
artsy words today,
Yeah,
man.
right.
You get
I don't like coffee.
Right. John, where did you
Yeah,
find
yeah,
it?
I don't get any coffee at all.
I've never even heard of this flavor. I don't know where you found this at.
They talked about it last week, so I sent it to him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There it is.
I would just imagine that it would be back in the day when we go to a place to get a fountain soda, and the kids always go for that suicide flavor to
Every
where they
flavor.
just want
Oh, yeah.
every flavor. I feel like Mountain Dew has just reached that level to where it's like they're just mixing stuff together. Hey, what does this taste like?
The test table that is sweeping all the flavors. in one
Exactly.
bottle.
Hey, this tastes
You know,
like
if I-
fruitcake. Great.
If I squint my palate, I might be able to come up with a name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can squint your palate?
The people at Mountain Dew are, I think. So I don't think it's bad by any stretch. I mean, I could drink.
No.
I could drink a bunch of this and be fine with it. Other than the diabetes, but so I first of all, I've never had fruitcake either, and as I explained, I think last week that like I don't buy into the trope of a fruitcake being horrible because I've never had it. However, like this stuff, it has what I think is like all of the Mountain Dew fruit options kind of have a basic, very generic fruit flavor. And I think that's what this is. Like they might as well have taken the major melon and then just added a little bit of spice to it.
Yeah.
I'm barely, maybe it's just my mouth, but I'm barely getting any of the gingery cinnamony stuff. There's just enough there that like I can tell they did something like that to it, but you have to call it Fruit Quake for me to even understand that it's there. If someone gave this to me and said that like this is just a generic fruity kind of thing, I wouldn't pick up the spice at all, probably.
Right.
That's my thought.
Yeah, Dillon, you're being way too harsh on it. It's more than fine. I'll drink more than this can. I think
what Dillon's doing is being funny, which we're not. So, good job, Dillon.
You're welcome.
Well, now you guys are going to get a care package of a fresh fruit or what one of these things from College Street Bakery from us.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Fruitcake. And I was going to say, like, for as bad as a rap fruitcake gets, they sell millions and millions of these things every year. And I don't know why. There might be like a money laundering scheme behind it, or something is driving this whole market. If everybody in the world thinks it's horrible, why do they sell millions of
Yet
them?
you send the people that you love.
Right. Yeah.
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 Sorry, couldn't make it this year. Here's another fruitcake.
It's the candy corn of Christmas.
That's right.
Oh,
That's right.
Do you think there's a whole boardroom of like execs like the tobacco industry that are worried about boomers like dying off? Because they got to be the only ones shipping these things still, right? Like,
I mean, that's how my entire family got it every year. Is my grandma sending them out to everybody in the family.
Right.
So
It's like,
Right.
like a subscription.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yep. She would mail order it in from College Street Bakery to everybody in the family.
Yeah.
The
and
fruitcake.
everybody over at Werther's Originals is like, what are we going to do to reach the millennial?
Yeah.
So it's like almost they have like that left Kit Kat, that right Kit Kat commercial. Is that what it is? Have you seen Twix?
Twix, left Twix.
So they're like diabolical like that. I love that. I feel like they're just scheming to go overdo Werther's.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just got Werther's yacht, and then right next to it is their fruitcake yacht, and they're just like scheming together.
Maybe
Now,
all of these things are just examples of taking advantage of the elderly. And so that'll just continue. I guess people start to lose it a little bit more and more later in life. That's when Werther's is like, okay, here we go. We need to come and inundate these people now.
Yeah.
And that's just how they work.
Yeah,
Circle
that's
of
like
life.
the biggest like new scam coming up. You're gonna have like people calling you up on the phone. old people and go, "Hey, we're running out of fruitcakes this year.
With your support,
you need to get your orders in right now. We actually need access to your bank account.
You can sponsor a fruitcake for 37 cents
Exactly.
a day. Okay?
My name is Bernie Sanders, and I am once again asking for your fruitcake.
If PBS was hosting a fruitcake fundraiser, which celebrities do we think they would get as hosts throughout the 24-hour marathon?
Mm.
Do we have any
diabetes
guesses?
guy still alive?
Are we going dead or
Is he
alive?
still alive? You
Can
know?
Can we go
Either.
Definitely
Yeah.
Wilford Brimley is number one on the list.
I saw him not long ago driving around. Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
Henry
Yeah.
Winkler for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, fruitcake.
Uh,
Yeah, these are the
I don't know. I always think of that lady. She's like the redhead B actress that just comedian. She's kind of funny.
Kathy Griffin.
Yeah, I think she's up there. I think she's manning the phones all night. Yeah, 100%.
This is why Middle North and Middle South is a thing, because like I knew where you were going.
Yeah.
That's totally.
I'm thinking William Shatner for some reason because he's like he becomes he makes fun of himself sort of with all the roles that he takes on.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's pretty much any old actor. That's where they progress into, where they're selling AARP or they're selling some
I
type
just saw
of
Adam Sandler on the cover of AARP. I'm like,
That's what I was going to say. You have to be the
Wow.
youngest of the AARP folks because then you're like the hip one.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I
I remember I was on the cover. Yeah. Right.
No, sorry. We not relatively recently asked the question of when we are of that age, who are the current today icons that are going to be selling us life insurance when we're 70?
It's going to be like Cardi B at 80 years old, like selling.
Yeah. Who can we envision in those roles?
Bieber's going to be doing his thing. I
he's
think.
way younger than us.
That's
I
what I'm
think.
saying, though. But he's like get in on that train. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Bieber's probably about the right age, right? Because he's younger than us, but he'll still be older.
Right. Right.
By that time. So yeah, he's probably about that age group that we'll be listening to.
They'll
give
do
us reverse mortgages and such.
Yeah, they'll do some kind of tie-in with like Michael Bublé on like the Christmas commercials for like life insurance. He'll be in there for sure.
No, he will.
100%.
He's selling tickets outside. So, yeah.
Is this the kind of stuff that you guys envisioned us talking about?
It's part of the course.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie. I was really hoping.
Yeah.
That's where I thought we'd go.
Some of our episodes that we plan, there is no plan. Their plan is there is no plan. We just go in there and we may have a few talking points and we just like, let's just see where it goes.
Eight beers later, and we're like, press record. Let's go.
Right. Hour later, we didn't talk about barbecue.
Right.
Oh, you guys think that these aren't our talking points?
Well, we would be remiss. We're going to miss out if we don't talk a little bit about barbecue and brisket and cooking because we are amateur foodies. We're wannabe foodies, and we listen to what y'all do, and we're mesmerized by the quality. Your Instagram feed is another great example. You guys are great on your Instagram and your socials with videos and putting it all to music and just like mouth-watering, juicy meats that I can almost smell through the phone. So I have a bunch of questions about how I get into even kind of at your level, which will take a long time. But maybe the first good segue question into that, I was in on a work trip recently with a colleague of mine who is deep into coffee. And he actually is a coach for competitive baristas. And so I was asking him, if I were to purchase a latte machine for my house, let's just say, well, I was too embarrassed to admit that I have a Keurig. So I said, a friend of mine is getting serious about coffee and is thinking of moving on from his Keurig and would like to make lattes from home. What should my friend do? And he said, honestly, go get your latte somewhere else. Like, that's one of those things where you should probably just go somewhere else. Your friend should go somewhere else rather than, because the latte makers, they can be good, but when you go and get a proper latte from a good coffee shop, There's nothing quite like that. So my question is, for a guy who loves the taste of brisket, is this something I can do from my house, or should I just go to guys like yourself, go to barbecue competitions, go to quality restaurants, and just let the experts handle it? Or can I be taught? Is there hope for me?
I'm going to tell you right now, 100%, there is zero hope. No, I'm just kidding. No, to be honest with you, man, I would totally do like brisket, backyard brisket. For people who don't really think about this, backyard brisket's way better than what you're going to get in a restaurant, right? Backyard brisket has the love. You're cooking 1, not 30. Backyard brisket is the creme de la creme. You know what I mean? So 100% do the backyard. Also, go get that freaking coffee machine. What is it? A lot or espresso machine? Yeah, grind your own. Just buy some good beans and knock it out. I would definitely do that.
I mean, whenever I moved to the street 10 years ago, I had never cooked any barbecue, and now I cook the 4th best barbecue in the whole team here. So it's like,
Well, I will say 100%. Yes, you can absolutely cook a phenomenal brisket or ribs or whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish in your backyard. 100%. You have to start probably like very beginner stage, and I'm not really sure what type of equipment that you're working with, but even just using a Weber grill, that's how we learned. That's how we learned to do a brisket or do a ribs. We're doing kind of indirect cooking. Is it the best? Is it better than having like a brisket off of an offset smoker that's been smoking on post oak for 16 hours? Maybe not, but it's damn good. But you got to start. You got to start somewhere, and once you get that basics down, you start graduating and going towards newer challenges. 100% you can do it.
I think that it's so intimidating to enter any sort of new endeavor, right? If you're somebody who is traditionally only hunted with a gun and somebody says you should try compound bow, that's like, where do you start? What do I even do? I feel like I'm going to look like an idiot. What if I mess it up? And so that was kind of some of my thinking around, because it's one of those things where you're like, I love the look of it and the taste of it. And you guys, I mean, what you guys do is amazing, but I'm like, do I have what it takes? And you bring up a good point about equipment. And I know Kendall has a thought about that too, but.
Yeah. So I've never smoked meat. I've thought about trying it. And when I jump into something like this, I considered myself to be a pro-am generalist about things like these. So it's like, I don't, pun intended, I don't necessarily want to go whole hog into the hobby. But I also want to make sure that I'm doing things right. Like giving the taste that I'm getting of the hobby, I want it to be legitimate. Like, this is what it's basically like. And so at my house, I have an oven, and I do have a Weber grill. And I consider myself a little bit of a diehard on the Weber grill thing. Like, I'm one of those. I like to figure out how to do things on a Weber grill. And so you had mentioned that starting out on a Weber grill is a good way to go. And I'm wondering, like, is that enough? Is that enough to get me to where, like, I've tasted the hobby? Or is the next jump an offset smoker, or can you go something more automated? Is that okay? Or vertical? Or how do these, is there anything that you would say, like, don't do it this way, but this way is okay?
So I really think that if you can maintain your coals on a Weber grill and get the meat the way you want it, right? Whatever you're cooking, if you're getting your meat to the temperature, your proteins, whatever it is, the correct temperatures, and it's coming off the way you want it, and you've managed the entire cooks over and over again, 100%. I mean, go to in my opinion, the offset smoker would be the next smoker to get, right? Inexpensive. Go to a Lowe's, a Home Depot, or something. But Oklahoma Joe, which we just testing the shit out of these damn things, and some of the best brisket we've had coming off backyard cooks have been happening in the last probably 3 or 4 months. and it's cooking on pits that are $300 or $400. It's not like you have to go out and spend a shit ton of money and whatever. As long as you can maintain the temperature, that's really the key, right? There's no different than cooking in a barbecue pit and cooking in an oven. The oven is going to be set to 350 or 250 or whatever it is. If you can do the same thing in that offset, you're going to get the same results, right? It's just learning how to maintain the offset smoker. That's everybody has hard time with that, but once you get in there and do it over and over again and know the science behind it, it's easy at that point. And you just see it as I have an oven outside. That's it. There's no different than an oven inside versus that,
Yeah. And to talk a little bit about the equipment you were mentioning, for us, honestly, we make fun of and we joke around whether it be a pellet grill, something that's electronically controlled, or we make fun of like using a drum smoker where you literally do nothing. You just light a couple of coals and let it go, and it goes for 8 hours, and you just basically just close the lid and set it and forget it. So we make fun of that a little bit, but honestly, some of the best products on the market, and for somebody in the backyard, utilizing these products that they would be perfect for anybody out there. And we all have them in our arsenal of tools, and we utilize them on a day-to-day basis, just specifically just because everybody has like kind of an active lifestyle and they're busy. You
Convenience.
You got family life, you got work life. We're not all to the point where we're retired millionaires. So we're grinding, doing our work life and managing our family life and podcast life. So it is very convenient to step out in the backyard and turn that pit on to 350 or whatever and let it go, and then cook your chicken and turn it off and be done with.
That's not, so I think I get caught up in that a little bit because there's two different things. One is like trying to master a grill, right? Like if you want to master a Traeger, okay, go put some pellets in it. Remember to take them out before it rains and clean up inside, right? Perfect. I mastered the Traeger. But it's a good weapon. It works. I make badass chicken on it. We've saved briskets during a cook-off on Traegers because our pits just would not get them done. We transferred them and it happened, right? Barrel smokers, same way. They all have their, I guess, they fill a void and they should be a weapon. But in my opinion, if you want to learn, like, and even for the backyard guy, so learning the offset smoker, in my opinion, is the best thing you can do because that will tell you every single thing else you need. You can work a Weber off of that. You can work a gas grill off of that. It all works kind of the same way. You're putting heat versus you want all at once. You want to close down half of it and cook on half of it, or vice versa. Like I said, I think they all have their place, but in my opinion, learning the offset smoker is definitely
not to mention too, if you want an excuse to drink beers with your buddy for 12 hours
100%.
outside, you have to constantly be maintaining a fire. You got to be out there and you got to be doing it.
How do you
if your wife knows you have a pellet smoker, then you just set it in there. Now you got to go inside and do chores or whatever else.
Well, the pellet smoker's cooking it. I don't have to. Yeah, right. This is why we do it.
But of course, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, where you guys are, you do have to deal with a little bit of the elements that we don't have to.
Yeah, but they're used to the elements and it doesn't bother them. Oh yeah, it's like we went up there and did it. We'd be cold,
blood.
But,
thicker blood.
Yeah, it depends on who you are. You're right. Even the Traeger, I think, like as long as you're the only one in the house that understands what's going on there, you can still just stand next to the thing and be like, "I'm sorry, I have to be here."
I constantly top it off. Yeah.
If your only interest is turning out good barbecue and you don't really care about, you're not interested in, like you said, learning the hobby or learning to maintain a fire, then yeah, you can get yourself a pellet grill. And you can turn out some fantastic stuff. That's basically how I learned. And then I learned, the Weber kettle and then the offset. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with the pellet smoker.
Cool.
Well, I haven't dived. I haven't perused your archives. Do you guys have like beginner resources on your YouTube channel or on your website or anything that's like, if you're just starting out, what you recommend, and some of that like tutorials or step-by-steps or anything like that?
We don't have enough of that, do we?
We have
a
little bit.
Years ago we did.
Yeah,
it's still valid.
So I think our TikTok is probably our biggest. The problem with TikTok is hard to search when you get into somebody if you could categorize TikTok, it'd be easier because we have a lot of how-to, even brisket videos, and a lot of times they're 2 minutes, but we're giving you the best, the key part of those 2 minutes, right?
We have some stuff on our YouTube, but it's old, and I think we're in the process of getting some of this stuff updated.
Honestly, though, we're so active too that we get probably a dozen questions every single day from people asking about barbecue stuff, and we're on there enough that we can answer every damn question.
So do you guys think then that probably most of your audience is people that are pretty well into it and like they're looking to you for those like pro tips, or do you still get the casual observers? Who do you think your primary audience is, or does it change by platform?
Well, as far as like social media wise, it's definitely going to be more casual. I mean, we get a lot of folks that are heavy into the barbecue, and those are the ones we probably interact with the most. But I mean, like on TikTok, we have almost 200,000 followers on there, and they're not all barbecue people. They're just people that like the way it looks and click the screen, right?
In your podcast too, if you're talking about lots of other things like sports and whatever you're watching on TV or whatever. So I imagine that's safer to be a general audience because it's not like inside baseball on barbecue.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. We do a lot of like Q&A when we post a video on a brisket. Say we post a video on a brisket, we'll get a lot of Q&A questions in the comments section. It's like, okay, how did you cook the brisket? What did you use to season or whatever? And we're there 100% to help out. And I think me personally, I got like, and we'll probably revisit some of these videos that we recorded because we got a how to trim brisket, how to inject, how to season and stuff like that. But that was probably a couple of years ago. So we probably definitely need to revisit that and do a little upgrade on that per se. But there's a lot of stuff that we go in because we come from competition and backyard. And so there's kind of like a little bit of a marrying process with us, almost kind of in the middle, that we produce this brisket where it has a little bit of a comp feel to it, but it also has something that you could just eat. Because when you do get into competition, whether it's the pork or the brisket or chicken, they pump those up with so much injection and seasonings and flavor that you just one bite of that, you're like, holy crap, this is good. 2 bites, 3 bites into it, you're like, this is a little too much for me. Like, I need to check my blood pressure real quick.
Right.
This has been like an awesome explain like I'm 5, segment already. Since I'm the village idiot, let's do an explain like I'm 3. So if you're sending somebody to the grocery store or like, they're like, okay, what are the things like must have? I can take my crayon and write down like the stuff that I have to have. Whether it's a certain tool or whether it's a certain seasoning or like something just anybody can go grab. What are like some of your favorite things to just start people off with as far as recommendations?
Matt,
what do you think? Like buy a trimmed brisket at first. If you're a first time guy doing it and you don't want to bother trimming your own, or you want to see the example of kind of what it should look like, before you start hacking into it.
In Texas, when you go to HEB, you can buy a trimmed brisket or a brisket that's not untrimmed, like a packer brisket. So I don't know if you can get a trimmed brisket anywhere, but if you take it to the butcher, they can trim it for you.
Yeah. Also, I would say try to buy the best quality meat that you can afford, right? Like if you can get a prime brisket, get yourself a prime brisket. It's just going to end up with a better product.
Yeah. And in general, like tools wise, like, we talk about it all the time in the beginning, when you're learning how to barbecue, it's very important for you to know when to pull that particular protein. So you need to get a really good instant read digital thermometer. So whether it's something that you just handheld or if it's something that just gets plugged into the meat, you need to invest in that, and that will help you out 100 folds. I'm not even lying to you. Some of the ones we've purchased, and we've been through a lot of them, whether you go down to Walmart or Academy and whatever, and okay, I'm going to get this $10 instant read thermometer that you open up the lid and you stick it in there, and it takes like 30 seconds for it to register, and you're like still not even sure if it's correct. Make sure you spend a little bit more money, get something good quality.
Yeah, you want fast. Right?
Correct.
That's
you don't want that lid open the whole time while it's like
if you're looking. If you're looking, you ain't cooking type thing. So people want to keep going over and like, look what I'm cooking over here. Every time you raise that lid in a big smoker, it just takes so much more time for it to get back to temperature. That's why you have those big inconsistencies when you have big cooks or going on or whatever else.
Do you think that's like the biggest? Well, let me step back. One thing that keeps people from wanting to cook and try things, especially with expensive cuts of meat, whatever it is, like seafood or steak, they don't want to waste the thing. They don't want to try to make it, screw it up, throw it away, and spend the money and waste it. Is that one of the biggest ways to make sure you don't waste or screw up? I mean, does that speak to that like fear that people have? Like, if I buy this expensive lobster and I overcook it, I gotta throw away $80 worth of lobster, right?
Definitely 100%. So we utilize it's a company called ThermalWorks, and they have a lot of like digital instant read thermometers, and also they have tools where you can plug in a bunch of different probes into your meat, and it has I think some of them or Bluetooth, some of them may some type of like RFID type technology to where it will extend through multiple walls in your house. So the one I have has a little lanyard that I can hang around my neck, and I can monitor the temperature of my meats and not have to worry. And you can set alarms to preset alarms where you can pull it, like say you're cooking a steak or whatever. Hey, I want this pulled at 125 degrees. And so you can be confident about, okay, it's going to be good until this alarm beeps. And once it beeps, I'm going out there, I'm pulling it off. You're taking the guesswork out of it, because I know we've all been guilty of it in the very beginning, especially doing chicken, because chicken was always my nemesis, because I'd always overcook the crap out of chicken, because I was like, well, I don't want to serve raw chicken because of all
I don't want to get sick.
All the the stuff that goes along with that. So I will just I think it's done, but I'm just going to leave it on for another 10, 15 minutes.
Let's get up to 200 degrees.
Right.
I think that's the chicken roll, right? It's like, I think it's done, but I'll leave it on for 10 more minutes, and then I'll know it's done, right?
Right.
And then you pull it back off, and it's like you slice it, and you're like, oh,
sawdust.
It's brittle,
Yeah.
right? It starts breaking apart. You're like, oh.
You got to put the ketchup all over it,
Yeah.
and the barbecue sauce, just soaking it up.
Not good.
I love hearing guys talk about like all the crazy, like when you can go really hard in the paint on anything. Like when I learned that there are trail cameras in the woods that could like send you a text alert that a buck is walking by your stand, I'm like, what? So that's cool to hear that you can, that technology exists for something that you guys are passionate about.
Oh, yeah. I watched not to go off on a different story. I watched a YouTube video, maybe it was a TikTok, where this guy was like pranking his buddy, and he got on one of his trail cams and got one of the big deer antlers, and he just kind of walked up behind the trail cam and just put the deer antlers to where it started taking the pictures and notifying. The next thing, he started getting like text messages from his buddies, like, I got to get out there right now. He's there.
That's hilarious.
That's awesome. Well, this feels like a great spot to take a quick break and hear from some of our friends in Odd Pods Media.
Once upon a time.
Boring.
It was the best of times. It was the worst.
You got that right.
What's your problem?
We want new stories.
Hi, it's Frankie.
And Garrett. And we host the Ever Trending Story, a weekly podcast where we bring to life a fictional story created by our own minds and some of the hottest, craziest trends from the internet.
Find us wherever you download podcasts, and be sure to join the fun on social media at EverTrendingPod.
Hey, this is Grabbing the Brisket Podcast. Join us every Monday where we talk about the latest trends in barbecue, interviews with world top pitmasters, celebrity cooks,
like Wee Man from Jackass,
and musicians.
Like Rich O'Toole.
So check us out. We do beer reviews, barbecue fails.
So many fires.
Dude, a lot of people just burn their houses down for no reason.
We also talk about cocaine hippos versus meth gators,
Learn how to make some tailgate gravy.
altercations with Texas Rangers.
People throwing Reese's peanut butter cups.
Yeah, so check out grabthebrisket.com for podcast info, viral social media posts, and so much more.
All right, so I have a question that maybe this will feel more serious. I don't know if this is considered offensive. So if you couldn't make or eat Texas barbecue ever again, where would you pivot, if at all? Would you do like Carolina, Memphis, Kansas City, one of the lesser known, like Alabama?
Can we go to East Texas barbecue or West Texas barbecue?
A different part of Texas.
No,
Leave the Republic, man.
I'm from Ohio. I didn't know there was Eastern and Western, so you can't have any of them.
He's just kidding.
You could have said there was Northern and Southern Texas barbecue. I would have known.
So to be honest, the barbecue does change though. So East Texas versus North Texas, West Texas barbecue is a lot of mesquite wood. So it does. We do have regions of barbecue here, or whatever. But with no Texas at all, That's a difficult.
I'd probably just like eat a hamburger. I don't know.
I was going to say, maybe the better question is, which other form of barbecue do you like to hate on the most?
I'm going South Carolina. That's where I'm going. Yeah.
I don't know. It's a lot
Wait,
of
to hate on, or that you would actually pick?
That's where I would go.
Okay, I agree with you.
I like the vinegar-based
Yeah, I do like that
sauces.
There you go. Yeah.
The mustard sauces a little bit. I'm going South Carolina.
I'll probably go Kansas City.
You can even go Korean if you want. I don't care. You can.
That sounds pretty good.
Let's go, man.
I can probably do that.
I'm going to go with that California barbecue.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah,
Tried it for days.
Tofu?
Yeah,
Yeah,
quinoa.
exactly.
Tofu?
Yeah.
They coat their briskets in guacamole.
We saw a TikTok earlier, Dan, and me and John, I think we did a duet on it, but it was talking about the best barbecue in the country is in LA. And I was like, there's no way.
That's an LA writer.
Somebody
That's an LA
got paid.
publication,
Yeah.
LA story, and LA.
Right. The only way that and not to talk trash about other states or whatever, but the only way that LA would have the best barbecue if somebody here from Texas moved to LA. And
or,
then
how about not in Texas? How about any other state? Just move there.
right.
Any other state. Wow. Okay.
I'm not going to hate on California. California is known for they raise cattle.
They do.
Yeah, they raise a lot of cattle in California, and you know what?
Happy cows. Yeah,
they barbecue the hell out of all those. I mean, like all of them, but they do barbecue. California barbecue is a thing, right?
Yeah, they got tri-tips.
The barbecue has come.
It's so
along
mainstream.
in California now, but it's not going to touch.
I
Texas,
bet you
not going to touch Kansas, Carolinas, Memphis.
No,
probably not even Columbus, man.
No,
I don't. Well, here's the thing. Like, I don't think everybody had. Like, Ohio doesn't have Ohio barbecue. There's people here who are into barbecue, but they're like, they're choosing a Texas barbecue that they're going to do or something else. Like, they're not. There's not an Ohio barbecue.
I was going to say that we even have Corey and I even have a cousin who's opened a barbecue like food truck and a restaurant, and here that really just means we're going to have a variety of other styles of barbecue that we serve at our restaurant that are going to be themed around well-known kinds of barbecue. There's no real, like, the palate is too neutral. It's like a light barbecue sauce here and not too much that's over the top. So we have it. You can come get it. You wouldn't like it. You guys would not like it. We would think, yeah, this is fine. This is fine barbecue.
So in Ohio, if somebody invites you over for a barbecue, like, does that word just mean that somebody's going to be having like a Weber and they're going to make hamburger and hot dogs?
Oh, probably propane.
Is that what that means? Okay,
probably propane.
You're not expecting to get ribs and everything else.
Yeah, it's like when I say I'm a Weber grill holdout, there's nobody cooking with like legitimate fire here.
Wait, so is your Weber grill, is that a gas grill?
No, it's a charcoal grill.
Sure,
and that's what a lot of people around here aren't doing. So
there was a massive uptick in Traegers like 2 or 3 years ago. And now people won't shut up about their Blackstones. So everybody's got a Blackstone because you can make pancakes on it,
right?
And so,
like they do in the restaurants.
So like everybody's got their Blackstone, but yes, barbecue just means we're fixing to have hot dogs and brats and hamburgers. And if you're lucky, maybe a few steaks, venison steaks that your buddy just harvested, like a few.
Probably plain grilled chicken. And there might be a bottle of barbecue sauce there to pour on it if you wanted some.
And it will be Sweet Baby Ray's.
Around here, the word barbecue means there's barbecue sauce.
Yes.
And we definitely use the term barbecue and barbecuing and grilling interchangeably.
It's I would even say like some of those foods are the most far and away the most common barbecue you're going to get is like pulled chicken, pulled pork with sauce mixed in a bowl at a graduation party. And you're going to have buns there. And you're just a generic bun with whatever generic barbecue sauce was from the grocery store. So like that's far and away the most common barbecue.
Yeah, so common. We'll give you the tour.
Yeah,
they're just crying. You guys can't see it. There's just single tears coming down each of their faces.
Yeah. Right, so anyway, thoughts. So we'll throw Ohio barbecue into the mix of things that you could turn to.
Yeah. At least we don't use avocados, right?
Still probably better than California, right?
I don't know.
They don't even know how to respond. This has been the best part so far.
Hey, it's been a hell of a show. Thanks, guys.
Painting a sad picture of our barbecue.
But this is why we need you guys to come and preach the way.
Yeah.
Before the end comes.
I can tell already we would have a really fun hang, and it would be good to get together with y'all. So I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard of this, but I'm fixing to share some culinary delights with you right now. I'm going to share my screen and show you something that I experienced for the first time at a family campfire this past weekend. So I'm going to share my screen. Hold on. Can you guys see if I share a screen?
Should yeah.
I don't know. Try it.
All right.
So far, no.
All right.
Okay.
So can you see?
Great white. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes.
What in the name of high school football is that?
What did you do? What happened?
All right. So this is a banana.
Yeah.
And you gently slice the concave side. You don't slice it all the way through. You just slice the peel.
Okay.
And then you shove some Reese's Pieces in there in the slice. And then you shove some marshmallows on top. Then you wrap that. Can you see the next photo?
Okay, yeah.
Then you wrap that in a little foil hammock, and you put that
a banana hammock. Yeah,
you put that banana hammock on a poker stick.
Ouch!
Then you put that thing in the fire.
Ooh.
And then you get this. Now ignore the burnt marshmallow on the right side of the image. But then you just scoop that out with a spoon and you eat a marshmallowy, peanut buttery banana goodness. And that's called a banana boat. And I just learned about it. So you're welcome.
I appreciate the sticker still on there. Yeah.
I would try this.
Chiquita band.
I would try it, but I mean, I'm not seeing a lot of goodness there. But I think at least
try. My initial thought is like ET phone home for that shit right there.
We're going back to Texas right now.
It's possibly a good dessert for a blind person.
No. Well, I almost plugged our YouTube channel, and I thought this is the one time getting on YouTube to look at that wouldn't help. Whatever you were imagining was a better version of that.
I think you should upload this. You should definitely upload this onto TikTok or YouTube. 100%.
We need to just make this. Let's just make this.
Just try it. So that was the second.
Yeah,
that was my second attempt. Those photos were my second attempt at doing one.
Yeah.
My first one was not as done. My second one was a little too done on the marshmallow. And I'm telling you, it tastes a lot better than it looks.
Yeah, I believe that.
It couldn't taste worse, right?
Yeah, I have seen this before, but instead of the Reese's Pieces, I've seen them just use Hershey's chocolate.
Yeah.
And
okay.
Yeah, probably tastes way better.
I was thinking like you add a little drizzle at the end or something, because like anything sugary is just going to burn up like that.
Can I ask like a really serious question? Reese's Pieces or peanut butter M&Ms?
Interesting.
This is a serious question.
See, I'm not a peanut butter candy guy. I'll exempt myself from this question.
Yeah, he likes Michigan. Reese's Pieces. Reese's Pieces. That's my final answer.
It's great.
Yeah, I think Reese's Pieces. Yeah.
Wait, that is the correct answer.
Nobody with the correct answer. Okay,
man, right there.
Yeah.
John's the only guy who likes the peanut butter M&Ms.
Peanut butter M&Ms are larger, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, not the ones with the peanuts in it, but you know what I mean.
Yes, they are still larger.
No, the peanut butter M&Ms though, like they're not like the peanut ones, but the peanut butter ones are still physically larger than a Reese's Pieces.
Right.
So there's certainly a distinction there, because you'll get different ratios.
One's artificial shit, and the other one is good.
Right, exactly. The M&M one has actual peanut butter in it, and it has chocolate in it.
It's horrible.
The Reese's one is just artificial peanut butter flavored creamy whatever.
One is artificial.
Okay, I think we've gone far enough. Let's just agree we're all wrong except for me.
Right. Let me know.
Ironically, it's artificial also describes our barbecue up here, so that could have been just as good for our previous conversation.
So shout out to my sister-in-law Janet for introducing me to banana boats. It was actually pretty good. If you guys try it, you have to mention us on the socials.
We
Yeah,
will.
we will.
100%.
And we will.
You'll figure out a way to like elevate it, I'm sure. So
He'll do with the peanut butter M&Ms.
We're
for
putting
sure.
brisket
Yes.
on it. That's what we're doing.
I'm definitely thinking you're going to have to go like
Brisket
Elvis.
banana boats.
Well,
Definitely an Elvis with the just actual real peanut butter
Share some
banana.
peanut butter on there,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
That's like
I think a way to spin this whole conversation a little bit, if when you try it, all of you should try it both ways, once with Reese's Pieces and once with peanut butter M&Ms. Maybe being melted in the banana will change your opinion on those.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying is they did not
That's a
make
good
an
idea.
80s blockbuster hit that was focused around M&M peanut butter.
That's true.
I don't think they were around yet in the 80s.
And that's what happens when
Right.
you lose. There it is.
All right. Well, normally this is the part where I would say I'm going to edit that out, but I'm not editing this.
That's
so
right.
Well, yeah. Man, where do we go from there? So there's Dillon had asked a question about where does like regular Joe Schmo kind of barbecue for the masses, where do we all go, or what should we find? And you guys gave very thoughtful answers. Now, as we're talking about our lament from Ohio and wanting legit barbecue here,
Right.
Question for you is, have you, when it comes to sort of like the chain places that you know are all over the place, are there any of those that you would endorse, be it like Mission Barbecue? We have City Barbecue up here. I don't know who else. Smoky Bones. I don't know if we have the same kinds of chains that you guys have down there.
I've never heard any
I've
of
heard
those.
of
Probably
Mission.
not.
I've heard of Mission Barbecue.
Do you guys have a Rudy's?
No.
Or
No.
Spring Creek or anything like that?
No.
That's garbage.
Yeah, no, it's
Dickies.
garbage, but it's a chain. But
Dickies.
Yeah,
is not-
Dickies maybe is okay.
Yeah.
yeah, we have some Dickies.
Dickies is okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
So
Depending
hard.
on
That took
wing-
a long time to squeak out.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're talking like of the ones in Texas that we've even heard of, there's one that's okay.
Well, and the
That
good
kind of
thing
answers
is,
my question, I think.
yeah, the good thing is on Dickies, we have those. I would agree with you. It's okay. Like,
Yeah.
so our sense of taste isn't that far gone.
Right.
I would agree with you. It's fine.
Yeah. I would
If
also
I'm-
say that like all of our chains up here, when we're talking about regional barbecue styles, kind of like what Dillon said, all of the chains up here, they do several of those. So it's like they're not like a Texas barbecue place. You go there and you tell them that you want like the Texas barbecue stuff or you want the Kansas City barbecue stuff. But again, a lot of that is related to the sauces. And like they'll have a Carolina style vinegary sauce for you. They'll actually have two probably. You have a kind of a normal one and then there's the gold one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll definitely have the Kansas City thing because everybody does that. And then if you don't want sauce, and that's your Texas version.
Yeah.
And so that they kind of market it that way. They'll have Kansas ribs and then they'll have South Carolina ribs. And the only difference is what kind of sauce they put on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hey, here's what you do: you drive around till you find a place that actually has a big stack of wood outside and a smoker.
Yeah.
And that's the place you go to. Right?
There
Maybe
are a few of those, but they seem few and far between to me.
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
a good one.
I think for me, it's like the challenging thing on my part, and everybody kicks out the Texas style barbecue, which I mean, here in Texas, I mean, they do a lot of like you can get a lot of sauce and all that stuff on your meats if that's something that you want. But a lot of it is I don't want a whole lot of sauce because obviously when you use a whole lot of sauce, that's just kind of like masking. Maybe the meat's not smoky enough, or maybe the meat is too dry. You don't really get to taste it. And we argue about this all the time, not amongst ourselves, but with people that we've spoke with. That competitions, it seemed like that's all everything is going towards, just putting sauce on everything. It's like we're saucing briskets, we're saucing ribs,
They call them glazes.
yeah,
now.
they're just glazing
Glazing.
everything. And pretty soon, I mean, and it's delicious. It tastes like candy. It's like a candy, like a meat candy.
Making me
Well, I
hungry.
mean, that doesn't sound bad.
No,
Sounds good,
it's
right?
not. Yeah, but sometimes you just want to go in. You just want a nice, just salt, peppery chunk of meat.
Garlicky.
Yeah, you're just like
Yeah.
that's what I'm going for, and that's usually what I want to go to when I go to a restaurant. But typically, it's like everything's just so overly processed and it's over smoked and it's been sitting out for a long period of time. So
6 hours.
you have to put sauce all over it just to make it palatable, I guess I would say. But it's to each their own. I mean, I know everybody has their own different opinions.
This is why
they sell millions of dollars. People go eat it. So
this is why barbecue is way better in your backyard than it is when you go somewhere.
It's true.
So our closest example, by the way, this is going to be some people's least favorite episode because my mouth has been watering hearing the passion with which you talk about salty, peppery, garlicky meats. But like we've said the same thing about like a burger. Like, is there really a burger that's as good as the one that you make from your own backyard, what we call barbecue? Like, it's so good. I love a good smash burger. I love a good like double-decker burger. But like, you can make the best burger that you're going to have at a family picnic on Memorial Day. It's just, there's nothing quite like it. So I'm with you. I understand that like backyard love.
I've been disappointed more often than not.
Right?
Yeah,
when you go
much,
somewhere,
it's very rare that I go to a barbecue restaurant and I'm like, man, that was good.
Or even like, a restaurant in general. You're just like,
but hold on.
I paid a lot of money for that.
Yeah, but time out though. Before you started cooking barbecue with us, right, Matt, and then same for you, John. How often did y'all go to barbecue restaurants?
All the time.
All the time.
But I got spoiled now. It's like whenever you're young and you have like gas station wine and you're like, it's good wine, and then you have real good wine, and then you're like, now you can't enjoy the cheap stuff anymore.
I don't know the difference.
That's kind of what it's like,
Does Buc-ee's have their own wine? We didn't talk about this.
No,
they probably will.
Probably do.
They're probably rolling it out this weekend.
I know they have their own beer, right?
They do have their own beer. I think.
Yeah.
But you know what? Hey, Buc-ee's. Every time I stop at a Buc-ee's, I pretty much get a brisket sandwich. I know what I'm getting. It's not the best thing ever, but I still get it.
They got smokers inside each restaurant.
It's actual smoked brisket.
They're pit smoking everything, and they're pumping it out. They're probably doing 15 to 20 briskets a day. I'm more than that.
More than that.
Yeah,
like
sure.
50 to 100 briskets a day. It's that people they're serving. Yeah.
Man, we need to get one of them up here.
All right. Let's talk about something that maybe we're a little better at up here and we can add a little more feedback. Let's talk about sides. What are some of your favorite sides? What's your go? It can be your go-to. It doesn't have to be the best sounding answer. Whatever you're cooking, and you want to make your favorite 2 or 3 sides, maybe a dessert. What are you having?
Yeah, bonus points if you say mashed potatoes.
I'm going to say some lumpy mashed potatoes, maybe. I don't know.
I'm going to get to that question.
We don't make that though, right? I mean, when's the last time one of you guys made?
My wife. Honestly, mac and cheese for me is my go-to. Yeah, I love mac and cheese.
Hey, we've got some killer mac and cheese. I think mac and cheese will probably be a big one. Potato salad.
Yep.
Right now, potato salad, that's a family secret. It's one of those things that like
mustard potato salad.
Right.
Well,
yeah, and it's crazy because your potato salad's either right or it's wrong.
You're going to add first of all, you may add mustard, but if you're not putting a little mayo, something wrong with you.
It just needs to come out yellow.
Right. It's got to be vinegar heavy.
Yes.
I mean, I would say boudin.
Boudin is a side, man.
It's a side.
Stop with that.
Sausage is a side.
It's not a side.
It's mostly rice. It's a side.
So have y'all ever had boudin?
No.
So it's like a sausage casing, but it's got rice and some seasonings and like usually like a little liver or something in there. And they kind of put it all together in that little sausage casing. You throw that on the smoker or your Weber or whatever. You cook it up and then you just cut it open.
It sounds a lot like California sausage.
It's amazing. Is what it is.
It's fantastic.
It's from Louisiana.
It's a Cajun thing.
It's a Cajun.
Okay.
Spicy. They have sausage in it as well, right? Sausage, rice, some liver, whatever else. But you do get a little bit of that liver taste. You know what I'm talking about? That little thing or whatever it is. It's phenomenal, and it's spicy.
Y'all need to just drive south. We'll hook you right up.
Oh my goodness.
Just go get in your car right now.
I need to move. down there, man.
I'm getting hungry just sitting here.
Right.
Hey, we got to send them some boudin.
John, we'll get together. We'll send you guys some boudin that you guys can try for yourselves. Because honestly, these guys put liver on it. You wouldn't even know. Like
you would know.
Obviously, there's
really
a lot of
good.
Pork and other meats that are involved with it, but it's basically kind of like a rice dressing that's like stuffed into this casing. It's super delicious.
It sounds good.
I was gonna go, so I always go with like say maybe brisket, and then I'll go a side of like ribs. and maybe a side of
there you go.
sausage.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like you, James. You're my
Yeah.
kind of guy, James. I want meat with my meat.
Exactly. Yeah. Funny story. So when Matt first moved onto the street, we knew him. We met. There was a little bit of a hanging out, and one night I think we all got pretty tore up. And this is the infamous potato salad night.
This is when I moved in.
It isn't the night he got in a fight with the tree, right?
This is my night. This is my day of moving into this neighborhood, which I'd already. James and I are brothers, so I knew everyone already. I move in, and I'm backyard neighbors with Matt, and him and my son or whatever it is, but whatever. He goes into his refrigerator and pulls out this like 2-month-old potato salad that he's been sitting in there, and he throws it into my backyard, right? Mind you,
I'll just say I didn't start it, and I was provoked.
Nope.
I was provoked.
But my wife had never really met. Like, she had met like everybody a little bit, like a couple times here and there. Nothing, like she didn't really know them, right? Next thing you know, she's sitting in the backyard by herself,
Reading a book.
and I'm not even joking you, and a bucket of potato salad comes flying over the fence. She's so mad. Our grass ended up dying in this one spot. This has become the potato salad incident, and Matt will forever be known as
Tater salad Matt.
Tater salad Matt.
It did take me like 5 years to get back in your wife's good graces
true.
too.
Well,
so,
didn't
yeah.
you go over there and have to like pick it up with your hands?
He did,
Yeah,
but he
I
was
was
so
like, yeah.
smashed. He shuts the door. He's not wearing a shirt or something. He looks like just crazy. He's like, "Hey, son, I apologize. You didn't know me that well, but I'm gonna." And then my wife's like, "Go out there and clean it up." So he's out there picking up potato salad with his hands, and I'm like, "Dude, just leave. I'm gonna spray it off with some water. Leave it alone. Get out of here." It was weird.
Yeah.
And also now we're like, let's put a gate in between.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it sounds a great side.
I'm glad you clarified that was weird in Texas, because I was going to say that'd be considered a little odd in Ohio. So,
Right.
I mean, everybody's got a story of throwing food of some kind, right? I once was a part of a situation where we were launching like Ziploc baggie, like sandwich baggies full of chip dip out of a second-story window with a water balloon launcher to the house across the street.
Nice.
That sounds fantastic.
That sounds like
Somebody's getting in trouble. So that sounds like
yeah.
Yeah, well, what's funny is that was in the winter, and we ended up hitting the side window of a car that was parked on the street, and then it snowed that night and covered everything up. And so I like to imagine, I didn't see it, but in my head, that person came out in the morning and was scraping their windows, and that's how they found that it was covered in.
Is this like some bad neighbor shit, or is this like just pranking?
No, this was I had friends at Ohio State who lived just off campus among the fraternities, and this was the frat house across the street that we were launching these toward their house, but the water balloon launcher wasn't getting all the way to the house, just to the cars that were parked on the street. So
it happens. Sorry, guys.
Scraping the chip dip. You use Ruffles or Lay's? It's got to be Ruffles, right? They're more rich.
All right, another popular side question on our podcast: mashed potatoes, lumpy, not lumpy, skins, no skins. How you having them?
Lumpy with skins.
I was going to say,
Let's
I'll
go.
take them any way possible, but
yeah.
with skins is great.
Skins is
I'll do that.
nutrients.
I'll do it all day long.
No,
go.
I'm going like skinless
Pureed.
and whipped.
Like
Whipped,
baby
yeah.
food.
how whipped? Like grits whipped, or like still?
You wanna put it
He
through
wants
the
to be able to eat
No,
it with a
thick.
straw.
He wants to put it through the strainer. He wants to strain it.
Yeah,
and
I'll
mash
take
it
my
through a
potato
strainer and
salad
then-
chunky, but my
Yeah.
mashed potatoes, I want it nice and whipped.
Okay.
And quick.
You
I
want
was
to
with you. I was with you on your meat sides, but you lost me there. Sorry.
I'm going. It's usually lumpy, and it's only skins. I think if it's like the little yellow potatoes that for Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah.
The golden one's
golden?
got the golden
the
potatoes.
gold?
And then it's got the skins on it.
Mm.
But
But I mean,
don't have any business being made into mashed potatoes, but I would still eat it.
Thank you.
There we go.
I'm telling you, don't disrespect my mother like that.
Well, I mean, I'm not. So, I
Hey,
mean,
no, he
true.
didn't. He
His
just
mother
said,
is easy.
He just said your mashed potatoes suck. That's what he said.
Hey, I don't make it,
Yeah, right.
but I'm telling my mom.
All right, let's take something super simple, something that might not be as complex or as lengthy as something like smoking brisket, and just like a steak, a good cut of steak. So we talk about the comedian Sebastian Maniscalco way too much on our podcast, but he's a bit of a food connoisseur and he loves being hospitable to his guests. And he recently discovered what he calls the best way to cook a steak, and I want to get you guys' take on it. So he does the whole salt and pepper only, bake it in the oven on 275 and turn until your internal temp gets to about 125, 135 tops. Let that rest and then sear it for a minute on each side. And he said it's the best steak of your life. Thoughts? And if not, what's the best way you like to cook a steak? Because we might not be able to get a fancy grill and we might not be able to get fancy cuts of meat, but we can all get a decent steak.
Yeah. So that's called the reverse sear method. And that's super popular right now, right? And it sounds like if he's going to 135 and then searing it, he's probably going medium or
we say 125.
Yeah.
But the question is, do you think it's the best? And
I think it's a great way to do it. That or just keep
or is there a
flipping,
better
right?
way?
I do that way more often than not, just because it's so easy and you can get it perfect, right? And I'm pulling it sooner than that. I'm pulling
you're putting yours in the oven though, John?
No. I'm not.
Okay,
Obviously, I'm not. I'm smoking it first and then I'm searing it. But it's the same method, right? You're getting it up to the temperature you want, right, searing it. Yeah. And yeah, that's it's similar to how I do it, but I'm not going.
Are you using cast iron for the sear?
That, or I'm using grill grates and going right over the fire.
Yeah.
So
get a char.
I'm not going to lie to you. I think you run the risk with the reverse sear. There is always the risk when you go to 125. Depends on how you like your steak, right? When you go to 125, the pro move and the rookie move, right? There's two things. The rookie move is to take the steak and put it right over the coals to sear it off, right?
Don't do it.
That's the rookie move, right? Because it's already got to 125. You need to pull it off.
It's still climbing,
and you need to stoke your fire, right? At that point, get your fire to 500-600 degrees, right? Or your coals, whatever it is. Get those super hot, then sear it off. To me, I've ruined more steaks, and I've ate them all, right? And when I say ruin, like anybody else,
to a perfect medium rare.
It wasn't where I wanted it, right? But I think for me, the sear first, because you can get a really, really good sear on both sides when that grill is like, you haven't even started cooking here. You haven't covered it. It's just piping hot. Sear it then, get those marks that you want, and then pull it off. And then just reverse or indirectly cook it. It's the same exact thing, but I think you're able to monitor that temperature better than you can if you go to 125. Because how long do you sear for, right? And that's the question. 30 seconds until you get your color. And then if you find more times that you get the color you want and you go to flip it, you can only be on the back side for like 10 seconds because that steak is already getting to temperature. You have to pull it off right then. So in my opinion, you should sear first or sous vide the damn thing because then you
agree to disagree.
I like I don't know about you, James. I like the just keep flipping method lately. For the past year. Just so I salt it and let it sit on the counter for about 45 minutes or so before I'm going to cook it. Then I add a little pepper and I throw it directly onto really hot, like 500, 600 degree coals, like right on the Weber, just directly onto it. And I just keep flipping it over like every, 20 seconds or so until that thing comes up to about, 128. And then I pull it and I let it rest for about 5 to 7 minutes. And that's it. No reverse searing, no indirect. It's just directly on the coals. Right? Boom, pull it off. Like lately, the best steaks I've done have all come out that, like using that method.
So what you're hearing is there's no wrong way to do it. Right?
No,
that maybe
find
whatever's
good for you. I think the biggest constant is making sure you don't overcook it. Like it's very the steak will be phenomenal if you don't overcook it. And both the methods, whether you're reverse searing or you're doing the just flip it, I think we learned that from Jess Pryles with Hardcore Carnivore. I like the just flipping because I feel like you get a more of a char, but you can go reverse, but you just got to pull it a little bit sooner and allow for a little bit more char action when you're flipping, and then pull when the optimal temperature.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
115.
You're going to do reverse there,
115, and then whatever. Yeah,
that's helpful. Thank you. I appreciate the input. I'm going to experiment with that for sure. Dillon, Kendall, anything from you guys?
I don't know what I had. We already talked about sides.
It don't have to be about food, guys.
Well, we had some about food. Yeah, we like food.
We're college football guys,
experts at everything. Really,
there it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to guess of the four of you who's most likely to listen to our content, because I think like you've described Matt as the geek, right? Like the D&D and like
he's super nerdy.
Star Wars nerdy, right? I know I did that caricature of y'all. So like would Matt be the most likely to like be our demo, or Jonathan, I know you're loyal to From the Middle.
I've listened to every damn episode.
I would say probably Matt would be more of the, I don't know, maybe all of us. I think we all are.
Yeah, I'm right there in the boat too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I really appreciate you guys.
I like your back wall. I
like non-commitment to a certain something. It's just like constantly always somewhere else.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah, exactly.
You never know what you're gonna get.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can't put us in a box. Go ahead, Kendall. I cut you off, man. Sorry.
Makes it real easy to market. Yeah. I don't know. Anybody. Whatever.
John's like, hey, you guys need merch. And I'm like, I don't know what we'd put on it. We can't make up our minds on who we are. We're having this identity crisis.
If only you had an artist in the bunch.
I know. Wouldn't that be great?
So, y'all's, what's your college football teams?
Longhorns?
Man. So
Longhorns,
U of H, Goku.
Well, I mean, like you don't have do each of you have one that you're like, this is it. If I could choose any team to have a breakout season right now, this is who I want.
Horns.
Yeah.
Longhorns.
Yeah, it'd be the Longhorns.
Longhorns. Yeah. All four of you?
Yeah.
No, I just don't care. So
yeah,
Matt don't care. Okay.
About college football.
We really don't have any college affiliates as far as like actual going to some of these universities or whatever. But
right.
Longhorns would probably be unanimous between me, Jan, and John.
U of H, because I paid money to them and my kids have went there, so I'm like, I
okay.
Officially, I've always been a fan, but now I can officially say, well, my kids went there, so yes, I do like that school. You know what I mean?
I know a guy who played baseball there.
U of H.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
No more aptly, not ask us about the teams that we hate.
Teams that you hate? All right, let's do that.
Yeah.
Are you on the? I wonder if they're on the same.
Utah Jazz. Horrible, right? Get rid of them.
Okay.
Done.
Are they even relevant?
Doesn't matter.
That's right.
Doesn't matter. The world's a better place without them.
That's right. There's a lot of not basketball. There's a lot of people in America that don't know who the Utah Jazz is. Right. They're right up there with the Pelicans.
Yeah.
What did the Jazz do to Jan? I wonder.
Look, it's the Houston.
It's the Houston Rockets.
Rockets. It's the
Stockton Malone.
Exactly.
And the fans are just straight horrible.
First of all, it's the worst fans in any basketball, whatever. Like these guys are.
What do they do? Yeah.
They have the lasers, and they're shooting the lasers in people's eyes.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They're just horrible fans. And who am I? I'm fixing to say his name right now.
The year was 1995.
No. What's his name?
Robert Horry.
No. Maxwell. Vernon Maxwell right now. If you're not following anybody on Twitter or anybody else, follow Vernon Maxwell, Mad Max, because he was part of that championship era for the Rockets. He has some of the best tweets. What he says just makes sense.
Yeah, he definitely loves trolling the state of Utah.
His whole thing about internet and whatever. I mean, like this dude who was like, hell, I didn't even know they even had internet there. I mean, it's such a great tweet. Only because, yeah.
I did not know. This is brand new to me. This whole Texas-Utah mess.
Yeah.
Thing is new to me. It's crazy.
And
I would have
strict
just assumed it was
right?
Oklahoma was going to come up next after.
That's what I would have guessed. I would have said Oklahoma would have been
Right.
So the whole running joke is why doesn't
yeah.
Texas fall in the Gulf of Mexico? It's because Oklahoma sucks.
So you just pretty much hate the bordering states, is what I'm getting.
No, we like Louisiana.
Louisiana's pretty good.
Arkansas's okay.
New Mexico.
Who? Arkansas? I don't know. Whatever.
Look, yeah. Hey, Alabama
Oklahoma.
sucks.
yeah.
Matt, we want you to feel involved. Empire or Rebels?
I'm gonna go Empire.
Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Wars.
PlayStation or Xbox?
PlayStation.
Okay, see, yeah, good.
Whoa, hold on.
A few of those in.
Whoa.
No.
It's like I'm a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could put Star Trek over Star Wars though. I don't
That's
think
why I
could-
didn't. That's why I didn't.
He
That's
said
why I said
Star
Star
Wars.
Wars.
No, I don't know if I could put Star Wars over Star Trek.
Oh well, you're just wrong.
Right.
Do you know how?
I'll tell you, I gave Star Trek a chance. I gave it a chance, and I watched one episode.
One episode? That's not a
Oh,
chance.
wow.
Okay, but let me tell you, they were flying through space, and Abraham Lincoln
What
in
year
his
was this?
chair is floating in space, and they approach him, and he's like, "Hello, I am Abraham Lincoln." And they beam him onto the station. I think he ends up like fighting with some aliens with
What
Captain
are you
Kirk.
I don't know what
Now,
you're talking
this is a
about.
literal Star Trek
No, I
I
episode.
think you're
I
having
was
a
like,
dream.
nope, I'm done. I'm out.
That's what
That's too
happens
far
when
for
you
me. Couldn't do it.
Drink, okay.
I've never.
I
Yeah,
never.
you were,
It's
you were so drunk.
I'm
I'm
just
look it
saying.
up. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up.
But
You're
you
gonna
could
see.
believe a big, giant, like hairy bear that stands up on 2 feet
Don't you talk bad about
and a
Chewbacca.
little green man that jumps around with a sword and just
Oh,
like
I mean,
tears
yes.
up everybody
It's all
100%.
about continuity in the universe, guys. Okay.
and uses his magic.
Yes.
Look,
Yes.
look,
Well,
Abraham, there he is. He pulled it
Oh,
up.
my
Abraham
God.
Lincoln in Star Trek. All
Look,
right. This is the one time I gave it a chance. And
So you picked this one
Well,
episode.
that's the thing about Star Trek. Star Trek is intergalactic. It covers more area than Star Wars does, and that's part of the idea of Star Trek is that they encounter all these strange new worlds and all of these different areas of the
100%.
universe.
And Captain Kirk
They-
has
Star Wars,
okay, but
Star Wars is actually relatively local compared to what Star Trek does.
And I totally agree with you. That's one thing. Star Trek was so far ahead of its time. And I know that Star Wars was as well, right? If you watch those first three.
Star
right?
Wars was a long time ago, right? So
It was. Yeah. And
yeah.
Jesus, man. Did we just become best friends? I think we did. Yeah.
A couple quick questions, and we get on the best discussions. College football playoff. It's expanding. We know it's coming. 12 or 16 teams.
16.
What-
I'm sorry. What?
More the better,
What?
right?
What?
Yeah, more the better. You should go to 16. I think it makes the 16, right? We're saying the same word?
Yeah. 1-6.
So it definitely needs to go there. I think it only helps out what this playoffs is going to look like, and I think that's the best form it's going to be in right there.
Way more excitement.
More
Well,
the
it's funny.
merrier.
It's not about that. It's just like trying to find out who is the best, right? And the way they've dialed these matchups, and I get the fact that you have the 1 through 4, and there's this playoff system, but are you really? You know what I mean? It's just not. It's not the best football.
I think either 12 or 16 teams gets rid of the thought of like, or who are we leaving out?
Right.
It does.
How many extra games is that?
It doesn't matter. These kids are getting paid
I don't
now.
care.
Look,
Even for us watching football, the more the merrier, right?
yes, and think about the
The
day.
season never ends. You know, it's
This
year
is
round.
play all year.
Well,
Yeah.
what was the day the Giants won the Super Bowl at a 9-7 You know what I mean? A 9-7 won a Super Bowl and beat Brady.
Yeah, because Brady's a
Mhm.
That's what I'm saying. That's the matchup that if in a different type of playoff system, they never would have made the table.
You
And
have
yet-
that kind of story. Yeah.
That's right, and that's what you need when it comes to a playoff system or a playoff whatever. Yeah,
I'll
Every
say
other sport does that. Yeah.
I would go with 8. I would if it were me. I'm just glad it's expanding either way. I think everyone can agree they're just glad it's expanding.
Yeah.
I personally would have capped it at 8, and we don't have to go into the long explanation. But I think the number we already know the other divisions can play however many playoff games that they've got, and so there's no reason the FBS can't have a couple more games at the end of their season. Do you feel like they have to keep rotating the main bowls, like the sugar and the rose and those, like into the final playoff games? Or do you just kind of let that go? Are we at that point where the Rose Bowl doesn't have to be the Rose Bowl anymore? Or do we still have to try to, make the Sugar Bowl and the Rose Bowl and the Orange Bowl like these are always going to be the final half dozen games?
I don't know.
I think you leave it as is.
I grew up with it, so yeah, I probably feel the same way as you do. Yeah, I mean,
because I think we're actually the perfect audience that the people deciding don't know how we feel exactly. We're a blend of traditionalists, and we're a blend of like, we blew the whole thing up anyways. Who cares what the name of the bowl game is? Like, if you still want to have a prestigious game in the Rose Bowl because it's the Rose Bowl, fine, have a nice bowl game. But like at this point, we've blown the thing up. So does it still matter if we're playing the final games in those bowls, or does it not? I think we're the generation, I don't even think we know how to feel because it's so different than what it was 15 years ago even.
I think what I don't want to hear is like the stupid crazy .com bowl. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. It's becoming the SNL sketch where they're like, "This bowl game brought to you by Summer's Eve." It's like,
right,
like we have so many bowls. It's like giving everybody a trophy. Like, have a couple big bowl games, have your 8 or 16 team breakdown, and let's call it a day.
GoDaddy, the GoDaddy bowl, right?
Except every now and then, I want to force a team to sponsor a bowl forever when it's perfect. Because the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl was just perfect. You didn't need to go to PlayStation. You didn't need to go to Cheez-It or whoever has it next. That was just the perfect pairing forever.
Can we have a Buc-ee's Bowl? I mean, how amazing would that be?
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of time.
I think they're going to have one probably in the next couple of 5 years, easily.
Oh yeah, they could host it in the parking lot.
Right.
So this Buc-ee's guy, he was a truck driver. And he stopped at all these different gas stations and whatever, and he had to do the pit stops and take showers and whatever, right? And he was like, if I ever get my own place, I'm going to build a place that has the best bathrooms and shower amenities that any place could ever have, right? So their bathrooms are cleaned on a 30-minute schedule. They pay more than anybody else around in these small communities when they build these huge ass buildings and gas stations. I mean, like, kids are going to work for 15, 16 bucks an hour. And literally there's like, okay, just go stock the shelf today. That's all you're going to do. Right.
And they don't allow trucks.
That's right. And they don't even allow trucks.
And they don't have showers.
Right. Right. But what they have, they have one of the biggest restrooms you can walk into. They have one of the biggest meat departments,
30 stalls,
jerky departments, the jams, jellies. You want to shop? Go shopping. You can get every different little outfit for the week can happen at Buc-ee's and that day. And you know what? It would even say the word Buc-ee on it. I got Dumb and Dumber shirts that you bought.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally they sell every single thing you can want. And 20-pound bag of ice is still 99 cents.
Yeah. They're 30 stalls. You could play your music on your phone and nobody knows where it's coming from.
That's right.
That's a nice deep cut reference. And I was going to say, I did a little peruse on your website today, and I found out one of y'all's favorite quotes is, "This where you want to be when Jesus come back," and Buc-ee's would be the place that you would want to be when Jesus come back. That's awesome.
Yes.
I've heard a lot of great Texas. I mean, we've said fixin' in this episode more than any episode we've said in 179. Do you have any other favorite, like, Texas specific slang? One of my favorites, my boss for a long time is from Dallas, Plano area. And she said that one of the things her family used to say is look and a half. How far is that? Oh, that's just a look and a half up the road. I love the idea that it's a look as far as you can see plus a half. Have you heard that? Do you use that? And if not, what are some of your other favorite Texas slang?
No, I mean, I think we're
bless your heart's a classic.
Oh,
that's 100%. A good one.
It does not mean what you think.
Yeah, it's meant to be mean.
It's all about the inflection, though.
Right.
Yeah. Bless you said, "Oh, bless your heart."
Nice way of saying you're an idiot.
Yeah, bless your heart. It's like
we are on to that one. We've got enough Southern relatives. We caught on.
Yeah, we've heard that enough times.
I don't think we really have anything. I think we sound all the same.
I'm originally from
I don't even
California.
have an accent.
One of the first things I learned is that y'all can be singular or plural, but all y'all is always plural.
Oh yeah, all y'all.
Right. Yeah.
What's an example of singular y'all?
Well, hey,
Y'all,
hey,
you are y'all.
yeah, you are so. Hey, y'all want to go down? I could just be on talking just only you, but I could say that.
Hey,
just
y'all want to
you.
get the gas
Hey,
station?
Wait, but I wouldn't even say that. I would never even talk that way.
So if it's just one of y'all and me in a car, and you say y'all want to stop.
No, I would just say you want to stop. I would not say that.
I'm just saying y'all can be singular.
But there are people who do.
Yeah, there are
Right.
people who do. Yeah.
It's like, y'all got that cheese head thing in your background.
Yeah. Well, no, I did see that. My son is a huge Packers fan. We just
Bless his
lost.
heart.
Yeah.
We like
Bless his heart.
They won last night. They beat the Cowboys.
Did I do it right?
So,
You did it.
Well done. Well done.
Right.
You get a cheese hat for that.
I
nailed
don't
it.
want it.
I don't think we have a bunch of sayings or anything. I think we have.
I mean, we're still pretty suburban
Yeah.
/
Like we don't say Ewans. Y'all say
No.
Ewans.
That's Pennsylvania.
Pittsburgh.
Missouri. Even
What's a
in Missouri,
Ewan?
they say it.
Missouri too?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Missouri.
Ewans.
It's actually YINZ, Yins. They put it on all kind of merch.
Well, maybe Ewans is Missouri and Yins
Ewans is Missouri.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I think it's Yins in Pittsburgh.
I don't know
Yins.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oy vey, Quinkis.
I think the big difference between in Texas, everybody is just
Nicer?
I don't think it's nicer.
No.
I think we're just a little slower, right?
Yeah.
Like we're not in a huge hurry. You know what I mean? So it's not there's no panic. Like it's like, listen, the day is just going to happen. Like you can accept it or not accept it, but at the end of it, it's just going to happen. Like go through life that way. I mean, I don't know. It's just a little bit of just like, let me get the door for you. It doesn't mind how long I wait. 10 people could walk through the door. I'm just going to hold it for you. It doesn't matter to me. Like I'm not in a hurry, ever in a hurry. Now at work, maybe I am, but not at.
Not when it's time to podcast. That's for
right.
sure.
Right.
Where the hell is Jan at?
let me ask you a question. This goes to everybody. How long is too uncomfortable for holding a door open? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
When you are going to open a door for somebody, how long is too long?
Like you don't know.
If the guy's like 20 feet away, are you holding the door open?
That's a little far. 20 feet's a little far.
There's a threshold, but there's like, when are you like an asshole?
Do you even hold the
for
door?
not holding it? Or when are you like, guys, this guy's an asshole for me just sitting here? And then they got like put a little pep in their step to like they feel bad that you're holding the door open.
You got to do the
There
fake
you go. You're
hustle?
making someone hustle.
And then we would here we would say, if we were that guy and we did that extra, like I'm looking like I'm hurrying even though I'm not actually moving any faster, we'd be like, oh, thanks, because we're like we're letting you know that we're trying to get there a little, like that crosswalk walk where you're like, that car is waiting on you, so you do the like.
Maybe that's it. Maybe the onus is on the person who the door is getting held open for, and we just need to pipe up and be like, "You're being ridiculous. Go inside."
Right. That's right.
Yeah. Just stay inside.
Right. Hey, look, first of all, don't open the door for me and don't make me hurry. Right.
Yeah. That's my favorite type of question. I say it depends on the person, not how far away they are. So if it's like another guy who's like able-bodied, I'm like, you got this, bro. In my head, I say, you got this, bro. We're good. If it's like an elderly lady, I'll wait as long as it takes for her to get to the door. It just happened to me tonight. And the people that were next was like two annoying kids that were being way too loud. So I just shut the door on them. I'm like, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, there you go.
Try to lock it.
So there is it's the guys that do the parody and their comedies or
Key and Pill.
No, I mean, don't start talking.
I'm trying to help you here.
No, I don't want your help.
Shut up.
Yes.
I don't want your help. So it's the guys talk about it's like being in the Midwest and it's like how helpful everyone is. And the guy's like, there's two neighbors and he's like, hey, I saw your branch over there. It was kind of leaning, so I went ahead and cut it down for you before you hit your house. And the guy's like,
on TikTok.
The guy's like, oh yeah, no, hey, listen, I went ahead and saw that your bushes need a little pruning there. I went ahead and cut it. So is that because that's how we picture like the Midwest just
It's
being
like
like,
you betcha guys.
Oh, you'll betcha.
well, no,
You betcha. But there's a guy that they mash up with all the time. I forget his name. Charlie Barnes.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So is that kind of how the Midwest is? Like, to be honest with you?
Yeah, that I would say that kind of starts in the suburbs and moves its very much can move its way out to the rural parts. But then you get to the rural areas, probably much like Texas. Like we grew up amidst cornfields where we really had two kind of close neighbors and then nobody else around.
Sure.
So that can definitely happen. I think the more rural you are, or the less, sometimes it almost feels like the more spread out the suburb is too. Like I just, if everyone's on top of each other, everyone's kind of tense. But as things, the more spread out areas, everyone's got a little room to breathe. Nobody feels like their neighbor's on top of them.
But there was a little video that came out recently to that question, Jan, about like four-way stops. And the Midwest is like, no, you go ahead. No, you go ahead. And it's like, even though we all know the rules of a four-way stop, it's like you're just trying to be nice. So it's like, no, really, I insist. I think it was a commercial actually for an insurance company or something.
Yeah,
but
that legit happens. Not for like hours on end, obviously. It's like a 5-minute process.
Somebody's got to go. Yeah.
At some point, somebody's going to go, oh, for fun, let's go.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I should, but probably don't have to explain that. Like, obviously, that's hyperbole. I've never had anybody trim the bushes in the front yard, but I have woken up in the morning and somebody who I don't know who to this day has like shoveled the snow off our driveway for us. Like that kind of thing sometimes does just randomly happen to you. Yeah. And everyone and if I have the snowblower going in the wintertime and I start going up down the sidewalk, like I won't do just like my portion of the sidewalk. I'll just keep going 2-3 houses down and turn around, come back.
Look at you.
So
yeah, I would say that's an added element, probably much like other places when you're dealing with extreme weather. Everyone's more the awareness is heightened that there's an old lady next door who's going to struggle on ice to get her grocery bags inside. That's a very different scenario than it's 75 degrees out, and maybe it's don't expect her to you don't expect her to stumble, but that's a very real possibility. When she's trying to get her stuff inside. So I think those situations certainly bring more of that out.
Maybe it's the winter snow fairy that sprinkles nice dust on Midwest people.
Right. There you go.
Because all of our stories are surrounded around cold weather.
Yeah.
Hey, this has been amazing. Listen, we've covered cooking, we've covered college football, we've covered like regional etiquette and differences, but really we're all the same. And this has been a ton of fun. And we didn't mention this after the break, the Odd Pods Media break, but the Grab 'em in the Brisket guys are now part of the Odd Pods Media family. So welcome to the family. It's good to have you all. And this has just been a ton of fun catching up. And we really appreciate your time. And just do one final plug for your show. Where's the best spot for everybody to find you, follow you? How do they best engage? Let them know.
Yeah. So I guess if you go to grabthebrisket.com, you can find pretty much all of our stuff there. Or if you want to go ahead to a specific social media platform, grabinabrisket.com or at grabinabrisket. We're everywhere, man. You can find us anywhere.
Yeah, just Google it.
Yeah. The easiest is go to the website, grabthebrisket.com. From there, it'll take you to all our social media platforms. Also, you can check us out. Let's go.
Okay.
Our pictures.
What was that? What was that about?
Oh, there it is. Yeah. It is. See, we have a bio. Let's go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. It's been a pleasure having y'all. And hey, if you are listening to this podcast and you have a manly beard and want to buy some amazing men's grooming products, we just want to give a special shout out to our sponsor, Artiest Man. It's a local company here in Columbus, Ohio. They make amazing men's grooming products, beard care, and they also have some amazing woodwick soy blend candles, cool gear, and all kinds of stuff for the man in your life. So go to artiestman.com. That's ARTIUSMAN.com. I just learned how to spell. Fill your cart with a lot of amazing products and use promo code The Middle. That's The Middle, all caps at checkout to get 25% off of your order. And all subsequent orders will be tacked to us. And so that helps you, that helps Artiest Man, and that helps us. So that's a win-win-win. And we would really appreciate it. We hope that you guys over at Grab 'em in the Brisket have an amazing holiday season with some amazing foods. Try the banana boats. Let us know how it goes. Thanks for your time, and it's been a real pleasure.
Appreciate it, guys.
Hey, we
guys.
appreciate it, guys.
Yeah. See ya.